La noche se acabó, pero tengo otra vez contigo. Le doy gracias a Dios, siempre pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Siempre lo pasamos bien lindo, lindo. Un verano contigo lindo, lindo. Me fui de vacaciones, baby, me perdí, buscando el sabor que encontré en ti. Canela con dolor de Bacardi, lo sentí. Baby, me tiene desenfocado, viendo doble, bien borracho, demasiado jodido. Contigo, pasándome contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama. Tú y yo, un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito, bonito, un día bonito, bonito. Pasándolo contigo en la playa, devorarte como el sol de la mañana, viajando todo el día sin drama, solo tú y yo. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot. Un día bonito lleno de alcohol, tomar un shot por ti, un shot para mí, un shot.
Hello, everyone. It is past 1 a.m. here in the UK, but I still managed to somehow find some energy to do this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining me and letting me have a few days off. But just as well, because so many exciting things happened, exciting and interesting. And is it just me, or does it really feel like this year is whizzing past? Like, I feel like it was just yesterday that Meghan drew 2025 in the sand. And for both good and bad reasons, we just haven't had a break, but for a lot of good reasons too. So um, there has been a lot of good things coming our way. And from the sounds of it, more good things are going to be coming our way from Meghan, not just what we know, but there was a hint of it in her voice at the Times 100 summit, which is the main focus of today's podcast. But there's a few other things that I want to get through before we get to the main story. But as always, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Kathy G, member for 30. Whoo! 37 months. Thank you so much. So happy for Harry and Meghan. Love wins indeed. And of course, Meghan's her husband, showed up to the summit to support her, being the supportive partner that he is, a man who stands by his woman, as it should be. This is how you win as a couple, not one person having an ego and trying to sabotage the other person. You stand together and you win together. This is how it should be. Unfortunately, that's not always how it is, especially when you have a very powerful woman, very confident woman in the relationship. But men who are their confident woman's biggest cheerleaders are always the men who win, in my book. All right. In non-royal news, the Pope. This is the big global story of the week. The Pope passing away not too long actually after he met JD Vance. And I mean, the sight of JD Vance would frighten anyone to death. But don't you think it's kind of weird that these conservative politicians meet these global figures and then they suddenly die? Like when Liz Truss met the Queen and then she like died a couple days afterwards. There's something in their spirits. Melania, in that picture where she met the Pope, the Melania picture is some time back, but Melania just looks like she is scared to touch His Holiness just in case she combusts into flames. I was raised a Seventh-day Adventist, so I'm not a Catholic. But for those of you who are and are mourning this period, thoughts and prayers to you. A lot of people felt that this Pope was a more progressive Pope. To be honest, I didn't really follow his leadership, so I can't really give an opinion on it because I actually just don't know how he was, but I hear he was more progressive. So you all can tell me in the comment section. But the Vatican Hunger Games to get the next Pope has already started, and there's some interesting candidates. Ones who are I've seen very a lot more conservative, and some who are a lot more progressive. And I think there's actually one or two Africans and South Americans also are up for the running as well. So there's that, and of course it was Easter weekend that the Pope passed away, and Meghan posted this very cute Happy Easter image video. Sorry, that has I think over 6 million views. Mind you, it is such a cute video that I probably watched this about 4 times. So I think if we're being a little bit more accurate, it's probably about 3 views because there's no way that you didn't watch this 2 or 3 times. It's just so adorable. Meghan has the same excitement seeing ducks and ducklings as I do, and it truly is an adorable sight anytime that you see it, and it's that time of year. And we saw from the Harry and Meghan documentary that they do have an Easter egg hunt at Easter time. So I'm sure they were enjoying that. And also, here's a picture of Meghan when she was a young girl going on an Easter hunt. So yeah, you do make sure that you are following Meghan. If you're not, why aren't you? Because she's posting almost daily now. Oh, Elaine Parker, thank you for being here. Oh, Elaine Parker, you should be your keyring. Lightside will be buying your keyring sometime this week. So it will probably be shipped out sometime next week, okay? Vera, I sent you an email again. Maybe check if you got it. I don't know if maybe your emails aren't coming through. I might try sending it from another email, but it's on the same email that I usually email you, so I'm not sure why you're not seeing it, but just please check again. Maybe check your junk folder. And thank you so much, Elaine. You will be getting your keyring very soon. Hi, everyone, if you're just joining the chat. Yeah, the eyeliner scared the Pope to death. It's always them ones that do it, isn't it? The JD Vances and the Liz Trusts of the world. Yeah, there's one Ghanaian and one Filipino. Yeah, I think I've seen the Filipino. I don't know anything about how the structure of the church works, so I don't know exactly how the next pope gets chosen. I have actually been to the Vatican though. I have to say I left a little bit ignorant. Like I saw it and it's very interesting. But yeah, I felt like I kind of just went for vibes. I didn't really have enough time to, like properly learn a lot. because there's a lot to see in Rome, but it's definitely worth going. And also St. Peter's Basilica is that's something that you can also view. So it was very interesting to actually be there. But I wasn't there when they had a service, so I never got to like see the Pope. Okay, so we also had the third episode of Confessions of a Female Founder, and I think this actually tops the last episode in terms of my favorite anyway. Um it just felt like, well, it was two friends talking, and it was just so expansive in how is it Caddy or Katie? Caddy um describes her journey. I think that we have an obsession in our culture with quick fame, quick money, viral fame, and there's always this hope that you can just go viral. And actually, viral fame kind of has its pros and cons. If you manage to catch the moment, you can really ride a long wave, but most of the time it tends to fizzle out. It truly does take 10 years to become an overnight success. And if you've laid the groundwork, not only do I think that you're going to be a lot more authentic in whatever it is that you put out, but people are going to trust you more. People are going to pour into you as much as you pour into them. And it becomes more about supporting you as a person and not just your business idea. And I think that's what Caddy really has with her salon and her brand. She doesn't just have a business, she has a community. She has a brand that people really feel that they can rally around, and when they pour into, they also get poured back into. And it was interesting to hear her and Meghan talking about the fact that, you know, it was only a few months into their business and COVID happens, and so many businesses were dealing with the repercussions of that. And especially a business like this, where you are literally hands on, you are having to, you know, work directly with people, and there were so many restrictions. You know, a lot of businesses, especially businesses like this, did not make it. But again, Caddy had that community. She and that community is built not just on her authenticity as a person, but her skill set, which she has built over the years. And it's great to see Meghan pouring into her friends, but also just female founders that have really proven themselves through their craft. We're not just giving friends charity, we're giving, you know, businesswomen who have really earned their way investment and backing as well. And she spoke about this in the Titan Summit, how she wants to invest in more female led businesses. Oh, and also, black girls, curly hair girls in the chat, tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how triggered are you by this picture of these old school flat irons? You don't even see these in salons anymore. Like, because I am hella triggered, remembering all the times I got burned on one of these things. My goodness, we've come a long way, haven't we? From this to Remington GHD straighteners. Just wow. And remember when those, you know, GHDs and whatnot first came out, you couldn't even use them on black hair. They really had to improve upon them. Oi oi. But yeah, this was Meghan talking about her days back in uni, how she used to straighten her hair, because obviously Meghan's natural hair texture is very curly. You can see in the picture of her as a kid, and it's still that it's still that texture. So what did you make of this episode? It was also interesting to hear that Caddy actually started this business as a blog. And then it just expanded, and it continues to expand, not just the hair salon, you got the hair oil, the vitamins, and I'm sure they'll expand into other things as well. a lot of the top um hair care brands, the luxury premium ones, actually were started by hairstylists who had a hair salon and then they expanded. So I'm sure we will be seeing I can't imagine anything other than like a full hair care line would be in the works. And I look forward to it. I actually do want to try the hair oil. Has anybody tried it themselves? And the vitamins, please let us know. Lola, you said that it was your favorite episode so far, indeed. Lotte, you said, yes, I love this one more. You never know what Megan had that many friends, indeed. Um, Sonny, I remember these holding your ears, praying you didn't get, but indeed, like, y'all, just trauma. Yeah, the smell of burning hair. This episode brought back a lot of memories. Indeed, yeah, I remember the smell of burning ears and hair. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next thing. Let's get on to the next thing. Megan also posted this with her friend and photographer Jake Rosenberg. Can you imagine? Those pictures were taken 10 years apart. They've both actually aged better. That is insane. That's what happens when you've got love, hydration, and moisturizer. Well, they took this picture together because he was shooting with Megan. They were doing some stuff for As Ever, so there's obviously more stuff coming. And they've been besties going back years. You know, these pictures here from 2014. Um, he actually spoke to People magazine because he was behind the shot of Megan and Lily. He said it was a beautiful sunny afternoon and we were all hanging out. The photographer recounted they were having a moment together. That was really authentic to who she is as a mother, and Lilibet is such a joy. So it was really a joy between the two of them. The pictures are that picture is just so whimsical, just like running around in the grass. She put so much care into each detail, which ends up creating such a beautiful story. I'm very proud to be part of what she's building and work alongside her. And so many of Megan's business partners are just people who she knew. She had a community, she had connections. She was a very well connected woman. Whether it's the photographers who she's worked with, Daniel, her makeup artist, the firm that does all of the websites for her. Oh, sorry, I think my mic went off there. They were also with her when she did the TIG. Now we are in our TIG 2.0 era, our CEO, soon to be a billionaire era, and Meghan went down to New York for the Times Summit. I actually thought that it was going to be a speech. It was more of like a fireside chat, which was absolutely fine. I think we probably got a lot more insight from that than what a speech would have done. Looking lovely in this oversized Ralph Lauren suit. And that was her and Harry arriving. So if you go to the Times YouTube, I actually posted it on the community tab, the video. Her video is the most viewed, first of all, of everyone who spoke today. No surprises. They've uploaded the chats pretty quickly. And yeah, Meghan's is the most viewed. So go to community tab and you can read it, and and you can view it, and please leave a comment because the haters are in that comment section. One thing that I am getting when I read the comment sections of anything that Meghan is in is I think the tabloid media have literally created an alternative universe for the haters. It must be such a weird sensation to constantly hate on someone who you don't know, you're being told that they're a flop and a failure, and every time you look up, they're doing even better. Would hate to be it, which is why I'm not a hater. So, a couple details that we got from Meghan, who, by the way, was wearing one of Diana's bracelets. Spirit of her mother-in-law watching over her as always. Um, so she said that she's the happiest she's ever been. She has her husband, she has her 2 children who are an absolute joy, and she's the happiest she's ever been. She says that she has mechanisms to protect her health, her mental health from all of the noise online. Um, that she is really hands-on for each part of her brand. I would also say I think that Netflix, when you actually look at how they build consumer brands, were the best partner for Meghan. Um, she still has control of her brand, and I think that Netflix very much does respect the creative's vision. But she has a very powerful force that can help expand in different arenas and also globally. You really can't ask for a better partner because Netflix has taken that Disney formula of taking a brand and expanding it into whether it's lifestyle, all types of consumer brands and ways that we can reach consumers basically. And she now has that reach and expertise. So she also says that Archie should be losing his first tooth very soon. Little ones are growing, and also that Chef Jose Andres from World Central Kitchen will be in with Love Meghan season 2. So we have a small teaser of at least one person who will be in season 2. I've still got my guesses on Serena being in season 2. Maybe the girls from Clever Blends, being that they have a food-based item. Maybe we might be making some lattes or something like that with Clever Blends. Maybe some like breakfast meals. These are just my guesses. I don't know. That's just what comes to my mind. If you can help me with any more guesses, maybe Melody Hobson, who's one of Meghan's mentors, could be one. Maybe even Whitney. I mean, I would assume that maybe she wants like slightly different people on the show and on the podcast, but that could be a possibility. And we've seen her around town with different actresses, Cameron Diaz. I forget her name, the lady who became really famous because of the movie Father of the Bride. There's a few people that could be in with Love Meghan season 2, but we know that Jose Andres will be. And yeah, that was pretty much I guess the main points that came out of her chat. It was very much a fireside chat. It was nothing too heavy, and just Meghan letting it be known that she is focused on her brand. And I think we're now seeing Meghan the CEO. There should we should no longer be in doubt that Meghan the royal and that is gone and gone. I mean, I feel like us in this space know that. Oh, but the derangers and the deranged and the desperate still don't get it. I think they still want to see Meghan, and they still want to see and hear royal Meghan. This is free Meghan. This is Meghan that has hundreds and hundreds times more engagement than the other royals. Look at these 2 stories from the same outlet. In 4 hours, only 2 comments on a story about Charles and Louis. In 27 minutes, almost 650 comments about Meghan. That is insane. On an article about Meghan. That is actually insane. So in a fraction of the time, 4 hours versus 27 minutes, Meghan racked up over 600 comments. That's actually insane. slowly saying Meghan Sussex is keeping the tabloid industry going in the UK. The true interest in the working royals is low. That's why, despite the fact that Meghan has not been a working royal for 5 years, they are covering her like she is, and Chris Talibanship is working way past Wednesday for overtime payments. Indeed. I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Meghan is the draw. Okay, I think that's all about the Times 100 Summit. It was great to hear from Meghan. Great to hear that she's happy and just getting on with her business and family life. Right, I'll take your comments and then we'll get on to the mess. Let's see. Those of you said Meghan's style is so amazing, trendsetting and effortless. Indeed. Now you're gonna see the others in wide pants. Benjamin, 602 hours. No, it was 27 minutes. 650 in 27 minutes. Mental. Absolutely mental. Okay, next thing. Sophie Chanduka has done a disappearing act. Now, remember on my last podcast, I literally said this. I actually said this the moment I found out that she was running a biotech startup. I compared it to Theranos. I literally said this from the very beginning, and it seems like other people are starting to make the link as well. Now, this very good video by a Miss Zanzi Oz Diary, go and watch this because it's actually worth watching. I might actually do a reaction to this video in another podcast. But she kind of looks at how Sophie Chanduka's Nandi Life Sciences was very, very comparable to Theranos. Now, what Zanzi does say in this video is that she couldn't actually find any direct evidence of funding. So, Nandi had not yet raised funding, but it's very likely that they would have, and things were going that way. And now I'm starting to wonder, did Sophie see Santabale as her ladder to build her own business, her own ventures, get her own investors? And is that the real reason why, other than funneling money to her confidants, is that the real reason why she decided to go and hire that consultancy company for almost £600,000? Was she secretly hoping that she could also siphon some investors from those connections? Because you're trying to build a biotech startup, you're talking tens of millions, sometimes even hundreds of millions of funding. You need people with big pockets, and you also need big venture capital funds. You need a mixture of both to be giving you money. And if you actually watch Zanzi's video, you can see that Sophie was very much going down the same path as Elizabeth Holmes. But it would appear that with this mess up with Santa Bale, maybe this is what actually stopped her in her path. Benjamin, if there was serious cash she made, that wouldn't be a question, but she's broke. Yeah, I mean, where's she going to get her money now? I am still just so confused by so much of this. I get the feeling that she bought a little bit too much into the bad press about Harry and Meghan. And I think maybe she thought that actually her slating Harry in the press would be her cash cow. But it's actually been her cash drain, because who's going to want to work with her now? Who? And more so, she may be attacking Harry and Meghan, but she's still a black woman. I don't know what she thought was going to come of this. Who did she think was going to be running to give her money? Who are these people? Because seriously, Sophie Chanduka, who are you? I feel like the truth is going to come out eventually. But the only thing I can think of right now that is that this lady is just stupid. I don't think she's some cunning evil genius. I think she's just stupid because none of it makes sense. What did you think was going to come out of you slating a prominent figure like Prince Harry on the biggest news? Sky News is the biggest news network in the UK, and it's also watched abroad. I can't make any sense of it. Maybe she thought William would give her money. Maybe she did. Maybe she thought the British tabloid press would come running to her. I mean, they did, but then they also realized that she was a lying snake. And they haven't said anything since. Also, they were probably sent lawyers' letters, but they probably also realized no, that this lady she's cray cray. Whatever money that Sophie thought that she was gonna get, I think it's all gonna end up going to lawyers' fees. Because I just find it so interesting how goddamn quiet she's gone. To be continued. In other crazy royal news, this Andrew showed up to Easter service. I mean, there's two ways you can look at this, I guess. If anybody needs the Lord's healing and forgiveness, it's Andrew. But it's also just gross and disgusting that they keep putting this clown front and center. And Andrew, he's got too much collateral. There's actually an interesting conspiracy that Andrew is a love child. Yeah, I might go into that on another podcast. But look into that. Look into is Prince Andrew a love child? Look into that conspiracy theory. It's quite interesting. Because Andrew actually looks like someone who was a friend of the Queen's. And that's where that conspiracy comes from. That he looks more like this other man than he looks like Philip. But again, it's just a conspiracy, but a rather interesting one. And maybe that's because he was the Queen's favorite. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's mummy's boy. Anyway, he showed up to church, basically proving that he's still very much in the fold. That much we know is not a conspiracy. He's still very much in the fold and still being protected, and will continue to be protected and paid for, and security and everything, front and center. I think that there was probably an attempt after the Queen died to throw Andrew to the walls, but that doesn't seem to have happened. He's held on. The reason I have a photo of Arthur Egghead Edwards is he was on Loose Women, which is like the UK's version of The View, basically defending Andrew and saying that what Andrew did was a mistake. I will never stop wishing the worst on these people. They will defend sexual predators, but throw Meghan under the bus day after day after day. Ridiculous. Also, in other news, it's come out that Thomas Kingston, who was the late husband of Princess Michael of Kent's daughter, Lady Gabriella Kingston, he owes 30 million because the company that he was a director of, Devonport Capital, owes millions of pounds. So let's have a read into this. I've said from the very beginning, there was just something very strange about this individual's death. Very tragic, and very sorry to his widow, but something just did not seem right from the very beginning. And the way that the tabloids rushed to throw William's name into it was very weird. And now we find out that his firm owed money to the tune of £30 million. Now, I'm not a financial expert. I have never been a millionaire. I have never run a £1 million company. Can somebody please tell me how you owe 30 million of debt and how it gets to the point where you owe 30 million of debt? Because if you are the average person and you owe the bank £50 and you don't pay it back, they're coming after you and giving you fees. So how do you get to 30 million? And also, how do you get to 30 million in debt and still somehow be at least appear on the surface to be living this lavish lifestyle as these aristos do? Anybody can answer those questions for me, please do in the comment section. So the company Tragic Thomas Kingston was joint owner of has been put into administration with debts of nearly £30 million. The financier, husband of Prince and Princess Michaela Kent's daughter, Lady Gabriella Kingston, died from a catastrophic head injury from a boom boom shot. Sorry, I can't say the GUN word. In February 2024, tributes poured in for the 45-year-old, with close friends describing him as an exceptional man who lit up the lives of all who knew him. At a previous inquest, his distraught father, William Martin Kingston, heartbreakingly described through tears the moment he found his son laying dead in the locked bathroom of a detached annex. It has now been revealed that Davenport Capital, which specializes in providing finance for companies in frontier economies. Oh, finance for companies in frontier economies. Is that developing economies? Somebody in the comment section tell us what that is. And Mr. Kingston was director of, owes creditors 29.5 million. A spokesman for the firm told the publication, having made significant progress realizing and securing funds, it became clear earlier this year that the best way to ensure fair and proper allocation of outstanding recoveries was to place the business into administration. Okay. Lady Gabriella told an inquest into his tragic death how in his final weeks her husband had seemed normal, apart from early in the day after previously taking medication, which made him seem almost hungover. In her statement, she described their marriage as deeply loving and trusting and said he had never expressed any suicidal thoughts to her or others. Wasn't there also something reported that he went to the same GP or doctor or someone who subscribes medications to the royal household, and that was also a very shady headline? Um, she said that she believed his death was likely provoked by an adverse reaction to the medication he had begun and subsequently stopped taking in the weeks leading up to his death. I mean, that could very much be likely, but having 30 million hanging over your head would probably also make you feel some kind of way. And just the general money dealings of these aristos are still very shady and go unchecked. You've got Charles, who got 3 million in cash bags. These people have never heard of crypto, by a Qatari politician. And then you've got the Kents, Prince Michael, who, 320k through offshore companies from mysterious oligarchs. So, when you hear that Kingston, the son-in-law, had money issues, and now you've got this guy getting money from mysterious places through offshore accounts. Very weird. Very, very weird. Okay, with that, y'all, it is going to 2 a.m. I'm exhausted. You can probably hear it in my voice. So I will just end with your comments and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate you always. We're always going to have stuff thrown at Harry and Meghan anytime they're doing well or they've got good things coming up. But we just have to stay focused and just know that Harry and Meghan will always, come back with something better. and stronger. Because we had all that hoo-ha this past week, and then here Meghan is. I hope the investigation of terrible Sophie was not stopped. Which investigation? Is this the one where her police motorcade knocked someone over and unalived them? By the way, the suit that Meghan is wearing is actually sold out. That is a 2,500. Oh no, just the jacket. Just the jacket is 2,500. I don't know how much the trousers are, but they're sold out. Oh, sorry. By Sophie, you're talking about Sophie Chanduka. Oh my gosh, this is how you know how tired I am. I thought you were talking about Duchess Sophie. Oh my god. Okay, Anne needs to just go to sleep. Anne needs to go to sleep. Baron's on anyway, so yeah. That's actually going to be my cue to just go. I'm talking nonsense and babble at this point, so I'm not even going to play the outro music. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy Baron. Ciao.